Our guests for today's episode are Vijay and Siddhita Upare. They have previously designed at Housing and are the co-founders of Brucira and Ruttl. I am Mayank Khandelwal and you are listening to Whiteboard.fm. Hey Harsh, hey Siddhita, welcome to Whiteboard FM. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I think we can start with Siddhita.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Siddhita. I'm a co-founder at Brucira and I'm based out of Mumbai. I'm a 2015 graduate from Sir J.J. Institute of Applied Arts. And I started my journey as an illustrator at housing.com. I used to make creative for the marketing team. And post-housing, I worked at creative agency as a senior visualizer. And then I joined a product-based company called Turtlemint as a UX designer. And I'm here heading design at Brucira.
Awesome.
So,
And Harsh?
yeah, hello everyone. I'm Harsh. I'm the co-founder at Brucira. So I started my, similar to Siddhita, I started my journey from housing as a product designer. And I did my graduation from IIT Roorkee in 2016. So post housing in 2018, we started with Brucira. Unlike Siddhita, I don't have like multiple companies experience. So yes. So here at Brucira, I handle the product part.
Nice. So, I'm really interested in founders, like designers turned founders, because they've played with a completely different set of problems. Like when you're starting off as a designer, your problem set is different. When you're working as a founder and setting up your own company and building your own things, the problem statements are very different. So, can you tell us more about Brucira before we move on to that?
So Brucira, it's a 2.5-year-old agency. And so we started as a product agency first. Like we used to build product, website design, mobile application design, and web applications. And also we used to do a lot of illustrations. So it's a team of 20 members now. We started in January 2018, and now we have so far we have worked with somewhere around 85 plus clients. The name includes Google, IBM, Disney, and like many more. So from startup to enterprises, we have covered nearly all the kind of clients. So yeah, this is about Brucira, and now about the journey and like how we got started, like the transition from designers to founder. There's a thing that so I would like to keep it very simple and very straight to the point, that either you are all in or you are all out. I think that was the base of the journey, base of the point where we took the decision that we have to convert from a designer to a founder. So like in during my college days, I knew Siddhita from 2015 only. So where she was in the marketing team, and I joined housing as an intern at that time. So I'm a 2016 graduate, and in 2016 only I joined housing as full-time designer. But before that, I did my internship, and that's where I met Abhinav as well. He was a product designer there. So yeah. So during my college days, I started with one of the company. That name was Payon Beverages. That was a relaxation drinks company. That was a unique. Till now, there's no relaxation beverage in India. So that was a unique concept we came up with. However, like there were three founders, and the thing was, always we used to think that whenever we will have funding, we will so because we all received we got an offers from very good companies. We got very decent offers, in fact, and we had a really great team, and we had great mentors at that time. So like one of our mentor was PepsiCo India marketing head, and the another mentor was the PepsiCo India R&D head. He's the guy who invented Kurkure. So
Oh,
these were the
nice.
kind of mentors we had. Despite of everything, we were never able to launch the product. Like for like even I joined housing because housing was located in Mumbai, and our our production line was in Pune. So that's why I joined housing. So what we did wrong at that time was that like we used to think that whenever we will get investment, we will quit our job and we will pursue this relaxation beverage company full time. And at that time, Siddhita helped us a lot in the branding part. She took care of the branding part, and that's where we started working together. In fact, so soon, because we were losing a lot of confidence and a lot of motivation because we were not getting any investment after trying for a year and more. So some of the both the co-founder decided to quit, and at that time, I also decided that I think it was in mid of 2017. So I also decided that either I have to quit my job or I have to drop this idea of relaxation beverages. So I took this decision. I consulted Siddhita as well, that because we always had this idea of starting a design agency, but the idea of a relaxation beverage was way more unique and way more exciting as well, because in India, as I said, till now there's no relaxation beverage. So it was a unique idea. So I decided to quit my job in 2017 only, and before that, I thought that I should take a break. So I went to Rishikesh, and there I took a 10 days gap to decide. So at that place, I met a guy from Israel. His name was Amir, and after talking to him, he was a psychiatrist. So after talking to him, he made me realize that my passion is not working in a beverage company. My passion is starting a design. My passion is always in design. So after 2 days of continuous talking, like a lot of discussion, I finally realized that I should not go with my relaxation beverage company. I should start, like, my plan B of a design agency is actually my plan A. So that's where we decided, I talked with Siddhita that I think I won't be continuing with my relaxation beverage company. So let's start with the design company, because that is where I find happiness, and that's where I'm more like I will be happy. And so yeah, that was the kind of a origin story of Brucira. So, and that is where so that is the transition point actually. I decided to quit my job and pursue my agency, because a lot of designers do this. Like, they keep on doing their jobs. A lot of people actually, they keep on doing a job, and side by side they keep on operating a different small idea. They like keep on working on an idea. It's good. It's very good for the personal development, but most of the cases it won't work out, because either you are all in or you are all out. So it's as simple as that. So yeah.
That's great, actually. Also, this was your story, right? And I was going through Siddhita's LinkedIn, and you have worked at housing, and then you took the transition to starting Brucira. Whereas Siddhita has worked at a lot of places. Siddhita also started at housing, and then she worked at TING, then she worked at Turtlemint, and then she's working at, you guys are working at Brucira. So, Siddhita, what made you want to take the leap and leave the day-to-day working working job culture that's there and move from a designer to a founder?
Start of my career, I wanted to do everything. I was interested in illustration. I wanted to do branding. I got fascinated towards UI design, and it was trending at that time. As a result, I switched multiple jobs, worked in marketing team, worked in agency, and also I worked in product team as a UX designer. And I had thought of opening my own agency, but mid 2017, and as I mentioned before, that I am having a clear direction regarding like what I need to pursue as my career or profession. But when I was working in a Turtlemint as a UX designer, I got a task to create onboarding illustration for their main product. I worked on that project for nearly like 2 to 3 months, and at that time I realized illustration is something I enjoy, and like somewhere as an artist I belong to this. And at the same time, like me and Harsh were working on few projects. So during that time, there's a gap between product design and creative design. What's some like what's something that got our attention? If someone was good at product design or UX design, then like that person was not good at creative part. Whereas if someone is good at illustration or picking good colors, then he or she would might struggle at UX design. So there was a clear gap and opportunity we saw at that time. And like we were very confident that if somehow we can fill this gap, then we can grow for sure. So I was good at illustration, and like Harsh was good at product design. So if we work together, then we won't fail for sure. So yeah, that's the point where I decided to quit my existing job and start my journey as a founder.
Yeah, so this is great. But like, what made you want to at that time when you were working at your last place that I'm assuming was Turtlemint? That what made you want to take that leap and be like, okay, let's go all in and let's get started with Brucira? Like, were you working side by side, or were you did you leave Turtlemint and then go all in Brucira?
So yeah, so I think the question you asked, I think I heard the last section where you asked about like why Siddhita, like was Siddhita working full time on Brucira or the. I tell you the story of that. So I started, we started Brucira in 2018, January 2018, and Siddhita joined in August 2018. All right. The reason being, because we both were earning a really decent salaries, and it was really tough to leave everything and start by your own. Given the fact that you don't have any backing, we were not having that much of a industry name as well. Because nowadays you will see a lot of influencers, so-called influencers. It would be very easy for someone who has a lot of followership on LinkedIn or Instagram and start something. It was not the case with us, and it was just that we had some experience with very really good companies. So, and also when you just graduate and you start earning good, there's a like you don't respect money that much. All right, you start spending money on a lot of items, you will want fancy things, you want to travel and everything. That was the case with us as well. We used to travel a lot, and we used to like spend everything, like we never thought of savings. So when we decided like by the end of 2017, when we decided we have to start with Brucira, the thing which was in mind was we will do a soft launch in 2018, and in 2019 we will actually start as full-time members. So for the entire year we'll just save from our salaries and we'll work Brucira in Brucira like as a side project. So that was a thought. uh, Unfortunately or fortunately, what happened was, because I was in housing and housing got acquired by Prop Tiger, so they decided to move housing to Gurgaon. All right. That was the turning point actually, because I knew from my past experience that if the same thing, either I'm all in or I'm all out. So and in this case, it was like even the co-founders are in different cities. If I would have moved to Mumbai, Gurgaon, even the co-founders would be in different cities. So that's where I decided that, and I wasn't having any kind of savings. Neither Siddhita has any kind of savings. So that's where I decided that yes, I have to pick, and I need to start with Brucira full time. So we actually started Brucira with 0 account balance. And the reason why Siddhita didn't join Brucira full time, because there needs to be some kind of salary or some source of money at least. So what we did was, Siddhita used to work in Turtlemint, and she used to contribute for the even my rent as well. So because there were during the initial days, there were no earning, there were no clients, nothing. All we were doing is just building our portfolio. From December, January, February, all we did was to build our portfolio, and there were few small illustration projects we had. So that's why we took the decision that till the time we have comfortable cash to actually sustain both the co-founders, then Siddhita will be working. So that's how we did it. Like till August, we had sufficient cash to actually give us a compensate the founders with a salary. The salary was very minimal one. We used to take 30,000 as salaries, and so in that salary, I used to pay my rents and some small stuff. And after August, when Siddhita joined, then for the entire year we worked with a lot of clients. 19 January, we did our first hiring. For the entire year, we worked by our own.
That's really that's amazing how, and very nice, thoughtful of you guys to share the struggle and like share the fact that okay, Siddhita was working and she helped in the rent as well, and that's how your first initial months went in having the soft launch, and you guys are very mindful of it. And also, my reason for asking the question to Siddhita is because, like you mentioned, right, as designers who are just starting off, within a year or two at least, they are not very. They are not. A lot of them are not very mindful about money, like you said, about savings, and hence, and also they once they settle in the that okay, we have a job, we have a steady income. Why try to leave it and take a leap so soon? And that time period keeps increasing. It keeps getting delayed. So as a designer, what made you want to as someone who's working full time, what made you want to take the leap that okay, fine, both of us were working full time, it was great, but now it's time to start our own thing?
So yeah, so I think what Siddhita want to say is there was a when we started, the reason why we decided why a design agency, like so at that time we got really lucrative offers, and because we were like doing very decent in our career as a designer, and like as experience as well. So we got a lot, like very lucrative offer, which actually designers in India, like they can't leave that kind of offer. We had those kind of like they're like really great companies like Shopify, Grab. These are some of the companies those we had some offers with, and but we realized that we saw this gap between illustration and UI design. How like though housing came as a game changer, housing is the I would say housing is the company. Because of that, all the designers which are here, like somewhere sometime they must have been like got inspired from housing, uh, and so we saw that if there's a designer and he's good at product, but there would be a lack in creativity part. He would be good with the experience part, but the creative part of the illustration would be lacking. And if someone is good at creative part or the illustration part or doing branding and personality building, he won't be understanding uh, the product terms or the UX, the value of UX, good UX. So there was a gap. Even the same was true for agencies as well. Agencies, some of agencies were providing absolutely like gorgeous illustrations, but they were not providing good UI experience or UI designs. So we observed that gap, and uh, like during the call, like when we used to do freelance in 2015, I used to do freelance, and in one of the project, I took help from Siddhita for some illustration, and the output was actually 2x or 3x better than what I created initially because of the combination. I was good at product, Siddhita was good at illustration. So we saw that gap and we saw that opportunity at the same time. So that's how Brucira, that's how we were very confident about it, that this is the thing that this will work for sure. And this made us take this huge decision that yes, we can leave everything. It's fine that for the initial days we won't be having much of clients, much of revenues, but eventually we will grow. So I think there was a kind of confidence between both the co-founders. I had confidence in Siddhita. Siddhita had confidence in me, and because our skill set was complementing each other, we took this decision.
Nice. About your story and how you guys set up, like in the first year, I think, since you guys are working out of an apartment, which is what I've read from your articles on Brucira Medium, the year in review, 2018 and 2019 year in review.
Yeah.
And in 2018, in 2019, you guys got your office, and then you guys also started a marketing team. So can you tell us more about the initial days of Brucira? Like, what has been your roadmap in terms of from having the concept to setting everything in place?
Okay. So we initially decided, like we initially thought of starting from WeWorks. WeWorks just started at that time, and like we went there, and they said that per seat cost is somewhere around 15 to 16,000. And because we didn't have any savings, and because even like ultimately you have to hire people, and I can't hire people until unless I have good enough security for them. So we made sure that we hire the first employee only if we have sufficient cash to run the company for at least 5 to 6 months without any project. And that because see, at this moment, because you are the co-founder, you can take n number of risks. You can put your career on risk. You can put your financial status on risk, everything. But you can't take risk with the employee, because they eventually become your responsibility.
Correct.
So we were focusing entirely on savings. So we went to WeWork, and they said that it's 15 or 18,000 rupees. And we said it would be too much for us, spending 36,000 rupees per month. And so we started operating from cafes. In Powai, we have multiple cafes like CCD, Sandwichi, Starbucks. But there as well, we at least have to spend like 500 to 600 bucks to sit there for for 3-4 hours. We calculated that as well, and no, it was affecting our savings, but also it was affecting our health, because we have to drink something, we have to drink cold coffee, anything at least. So that's where we decide the best way is to start the office from home, because I have a maid, she can cook the food, and I anyways has to pay her. So I got my flat renovated, because Siddhita lives with her family, so it was not possible to work from her home. So I got my flat renovated a bit. We bought a big dining table. We put that in hall, and yep, we started doing it. Like after office hours, Siddhita. Fortunately, Siddhita's office was in Santa Cruz, and my flat was in Powai. So while going back to her home, like she used to drop by my flat. We used to work for 2-3 hours, and then she used to go back to her home. So yeah, that's how we started.
Nice. Like, this is something very interesting, because a lot of design aspirants who consider starting off are very they think overly positively at times that okay, we'll set up, things will be really it'll be fairy tale types, but then this is the brutality of it, that things aren't that easy, but it's not impossible either. You can do it, you just have to be very pragmatic and realistic about it. So this is now that we've spoken about the initial days of Brucira, can you tell us more about the team structure and how do you guys function as an agency?
Yeah, so we are a team of 20 members, and majority of them are designers. It's a combination of graphic designers, illustrators, UX designers, content writers, PM, and developers. Being a startup, you can't have individual person for every skill set, so you need to have all rounders mostly. And like we don't believe in a hierarchical structure at Brucira. There is no senior or junior kind of thing. If you if you know that you are good at your thing, and if you have that confidence, this yes I can nail it, then yeah, you are owner of that project. So, here we follow a work method which we call McDonald's speed system. So, if you have watched movie Founders, you will know that process that McDonald's used to speed up their process with the best quality. So, in this process, we make sure that everyone is doing what he or she good at. So, for example, if there is a website project, so one person will make only wireframes, then second person will take care of UI screens, then UI design. Sorry. Now the senior person will do aesthetic improvements on same design, and final design is always go to me or Harsh for the approvals. So that's how we ensure speed delivery with utmost quality.
Also, can you tell us more about the hiring process at Brucira? How do you guys hire designers or product people?
Yeah, so we start with resume shortlisting, and we give priority to the application we send cover letter along with resume. So so guys, cover letter is very important. So once we found application interesting, we send assignment and give like 3 to 7 days timeline to complete the same. The assignment is different for a UX designer and the illustrator or graphic designer. For UX designer, we focus more on the problem identification and problem solving skills of the candidate, and whereas for a creative team, the focus is more on the design aesthetics or illustration skills. When the assignments get selected, we schedule face-to-face interview as final round. So during the final interview, we don't talk much about the assignment or technical knowledge of the employee, but we focus more on the understanding the client as a human being. So we focus more on the person more than skill. And the reason being that in my last 3 companies, I saw a lot of office politics, which I believe is not healthy at all. So that's why at Brucira we make sure that everyone is surrounded by good vibe and far away from any type of negativity in terms of work ethic or culture or office politics.
It's nice to see how you guys are very invested, not just in terms of the skill set, but in terms of how the candidates are in terms of human beings as well. Because that I feel that makes a lot of sense, that if you are a person who will complement the team culture, you are a great fit. And if it seems like it will hinder the team culture and the mentality or mindset that's there, maybe not a good fit.
Yeah. So we always, because see, I can make any kind of designer learn good design. You can make any kind of designer. If he knows basic stuff, you can train him. But you can't train him with these things, these characteristics.
Right.
This is something they bring with themselves along with the skill.
Makes a lot of sense. Along with Brucira, you guys, I have noticed online on social media that you guys have started are working on this tool called Ruttl. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So Ruttl initially started as an internal tool. So because we were always, as I said, we always focus on process optimization and quality control.
Right.
These are the very important parts. So Ruttl started as that. So we had very bad experiences with working with clients where they used to give us feedbacks where initial day when we didn't have any development team, we used to do the designs and send it to the client, and their developer used to screw the entire design. And if I have to review that particular page, I used to invest 10 to 15 hours for a single page in order to make that perfect with the design. Because developer does has a different mindset. Nowadays, developers are actually taking design very seriously. but they like you can't control, you can't standardize the developers with respect to the design aesthetic, design knowledge, and you can't control that environment as well. So what I used to do, I used to take a screen share session with the developers, used to inspect element, used to show them, okay, this move this here, move this here. That was a really time consuming process, and used to cost us a lot, because the amount of time we used to invest in our website design, the review time was more than that, and it was a lot frustrating as well. So that's where we decided to create a tool like that for internal purposes. uh, and yep, after that, once we started running some of the website projects on that, we realized that this is a tool that could be of great help for other people as well, especially the agencies, because they have a day-to-day review processes. So that's why we decided to launch it commercially as well. So that's why we started marketing it as well. So yeah, that is the story of Ruttl. Now we are planning to launch it by October. We have already given credentials to a lot of users, test users, and they're using it and giving us feedbacks. We are just improving the product, and by October we will be doing a beta launch for everyone, a public beta launch.
Right. That's great. Also, is this a part of Brucira, or this is completely independent?
Ruttl is a subsidiary of Brucira.
Okay.
Brucira holds majority of the stakes in Ruttl. But we never wanted to mix a product with the service agency. So yeah, that's why we kept it as a subsidiary. And yeah, so the aim, the work style and all are totally different in Ruttl and in Brucira. However, we are trying to what we are trying to do at Brucira is trying to build up an agency which is not like a conventional agency.
Right.
All right. So that's why, like, even the work culture, the how we work at Brucira, how we take care of any project is entirely different. It's exactly like we used to do back in Housing days, or Siddhita used to do in Turtlemint.
And what's the process? If you can tell us in brief, what's the process? How Brucira is very unconventional.
The unconventional is basically what we focus is for a single project, there should be an involvement of at least 5 to 6 members.
Okay.
Even if it's a website design project. All right, because if there's only so that's how it's different. Like most of the time, people in agencies, I'm not sure, because I can't comment on that because I haven't really worked there. But
Right.
I feel that is the thing. Like when there's a single designer who works for a project, there's kind of a biasness. So the designer gets obsessed. They get possessive about their design. So that's what we try to eliminate. So that's why the system where it's kind of an assembly line. So things is going from here to here. So and yep. So we start, for any client, for any project, we start with first understanding the business requirement, because I always tell to my client that why you are investing in the design. I always ask them, because people come to us and they say they need something new, they need some good design. But before investing that much of amount in a design, you should understand what is lacking in your current product or in your current design. Is it only the design that is becoming a hindrance in your lead conversion, or there's something else? We first try to understand that. That generally comes from the business perspective. So if there's an operation heavy product, like operation heavy startup, like let's say for an example it's Swiggy and all, then the focus should be on operation, improving them. That might be a reason for low customer satisfaction, not the design. We have amazing examples out there. We have Reddit as the biggest example. Reddit was like one of the biggest platform, despite of very mediocre design initially. So design is important, I would say, but it is not that important. The product execution, basically it depends on what type of company you're running. All right. So yeah, we always consult those things with the client, and then we, after knowing the business requirement, we start with the information architecture. The information architecture basically highlights everything. What could be the site map? What would be the pages, number of pages? What would be the structure of those pages? The priority order in those pages. That is the information architecture. If, let's say, I'm just taking example of a website design project, and post that, uh, we create the visual representation of the information architecture. That is called wireframes, high
Right.
fidelity or low fidelity, depending on the how much interest the designer is taking in the project. So it's not the client asks for a high fidelity or low fidelity. If the designer is liking to, because we always said, because it's just a visual representation of the information architecture, why to invest that much of time? But sometimes designers are actually, when they start doing something, you can't stop them, and you should not stop them.
Right.
So we said, okay, although the timeline is of just 2 days for delivering the wireframe, just take a week time. That is fine. You should be happy doing your work. That is it. So and that's why, like, we take somewhere around minimum 2.5 to 3 months for a single website design. It is possible in 2 weeks as well, but because of the entire process, and because we want to give a lot to that particular design, we take 2.5 to 3 months. So yeah, I think after the wireframe, we try to understand the personality, the look and feel that the client want to get. So we ask some questions like, what is the personality? Whether you want to look casual, we want to look like an enterprise, we want to look techy or professional. Those kind of thing. After understanding that, we prepare a mood board. The mood board has a lot of design inspirations, lot of snippets. We tell them, we send it to them on InVision, and they basically, we ask them to rate those mood boards. After they rate the mood boards, we got a fair idea. We get a fair idea that what should be the direction, and we take that direction.
Thanks a lot for sharing your process, Harsh. And the reason why I asked you your previous question, whether Ruttl is a part of Brucira or not, was because of my next question, which is that, again, like, I've seen you guys mention it on Medium and on other places that Brucira is not uh, a normal design agency. You guys are trying to do something very different.
Yeah.
And what are your future plans in terms of, is Brucira going to continue to be an unconventional design agency, or are you going to pivot or level up to a product company? Or I wouldn't say level up, I would say, uh, or maybe transition to a product company. What are your future plans?
All right. So we are not at all thinking of converting Brucira to a product company. Brucira is the main base. Because of that, we are here.
Right.
First of all, it's not just about the emotional things, but also while we were working with a lot of clients and a lot of users, we got an opportunity to interact with a lot of people.
Correct.
That is not possible with a product company. And I think the learning is more in a service agency. If, yeah, given the fact that you're doing it properly with the processes, you are following the like exact UX or the design processes, design thinking and stuff. So yep, we are not at all thinking of that. As I said, Ruttl was a product of, like, was an attempt to optimize our processes. So this is the future plan only, that we will keep on optimizing our process. We need to understand how deep we can get into that. All right. There are a lot of internal processes that we have to solve. We have created our internal task manager as well, that we were thinking of making live for the audience. That's a very small task manager. We luckily we launched it, like, internally. We launched it just before the this lockdown, and the results are really good. The productivity is really good with that task manager. It's not like Trello or anything else. It's a very basic thing. So we are just trying to explore more and more things, like, which can optimize our processes as an agency. And if we see a potential in that, and if we see that this product, because every agency, every person has a different kind of has a different work type or a work method. So if our product can fit in their work method, then well and good. We can launch it as a product. We will launch it as a different product. So yeah, things will always go from Brucira and originate from Brucira. The focus will always be on optimization.
Awesome. I really like the fact that you keep mentioning about optimization and have such an emphasis on processes, which is having systems in place within the company that, okay, this is how every project will start and end, and these are the processes which will be taken care of by these set of people. And also, like, this is how which brings me to the question of how what is your view on design systems, or and design systems not just in terms of a project when designing, but in terms of a company, like what are your views in terms of how important and how do design systems help in terms of designing a company and a project?
So basically, your question should be more of design processes or its on systems.
It's on systems. So processes are a part of the systems, right?
Yeah.
Like, and when I say design systems, it's people often would think that, okay, he's talking about design systems for a project, but I'm saying in terms of a company, like how you said that every project is taken, like given, like the person who's working on the project has full accountability for it, and when the sign off is given, it's given through you and Siddhita.
Yeah.
So what are your views on placing and organizing design systems?
All right. So I think it's very important because in the end, everything comes down to quality or the experience you provide to your customer. So if there's no system that ensures that, then eventually you will fail.
Right.
So that's why it's very important. A system gives you clear idea or in fact a control over your process and over your final outcome. So as a founder, if you just whatever you were doing during your starting phase, if you just make that as your system for the entire company, the company will grow. So that's what we used to do till date. If I'm doing any website design work, Siddhita will always be working with me because that was our process, like giving feedbacks. Because she's good at the creative side, I'm good at the product side, layouting and all. So she gives me. We do a screen share session. And whenever I create a section, she gives her opinion and kind of a rating. In fact, that okay, now this is good. This was better from earlier and all. And that's how we basically final output. We create the final output. This is the kind of system we were following when we just two of us were working. So we didn't do anything different. We just made that system basically organized enough, documented, so it could be used by the entire organization. So that's why, things are control. You will have a control, and you will have a bird eye view. In fact, because it's tough to supervise the entire thing, but it's easy to supervise blocks of it.
Right.
So yeah, so the system ensures you that you will only focusing on basically, if you are focusing on a level 1, then focus on that. Level 2, focus on that, and then eventually the final output will be like you will be very much confident that if level 1 to 10 are working fine, then your final output will be good.
That's great. Also, I'm pretty sure from the time when you guys started off Brucira as designers to hiring junior designers and more product people and developers, you guys have slowly and steadily transitioned to the role of founders and co-founders, right? And as co-founders, you and Siddhita would not be able to work on each project, but be able to have an up, like you said, third eyes
Bird eye view
and bird eyes view, and being able to give the final send off. So what are other challenges that you came across as co-founders, and which you guys were not prepared of, and how did you deal with them?
They are majorly what I can think of are 3 major challenges. So the very first one is the hiring. As I said, we have a very system in place when it comes to hiring. We are very particular about that. So hiring a wrong guy can be a can be a like a starting of your downfall. It's a symbol like you don't need a highly skilled person. You need a highly disciplined person when it comes to hiring. That is one of the challenge, and we overcome this challenge with the process that I explained you before.
Right.
That the entire process. So even in Dribble, you will see a lot of fancy like designs and all. It's very easy to fall for those designs. Very easy. All right. Sometimes we also like I myself think like why my design is not better than those designs. But when I actually go and check the functionality of design, I know that okay, this is why that person was able to make this design better, because he was not thinking of the functionality. All he or she has to do is to make a graphic in a 6:4 ratio. All right. So that's why a process was required, and that was the challenge, because we used to see a lot of portfolio there. All looks good, all used to look good, great in fact. But finally, when we used to give them a small challenge, then they used to like the difference between their dribble and their output was a lot. So that's why we put this system in place, and that was our learning. That never hire a person without any assignment, without giving an assignment. So yeah, that was first. The second challenge is employee satisfaction. So because see, a company is nothing but a set of talented people who are working hard towards the same goal. That is all about a company. Like that's called an organization. So employee satisfaction, even if so, there are like lots of you can treat it as a long chain, and these are different units. If a single unit is weak, then yes, the entire chain will grow. So that's why employee satisfaction is very important. We observed a lot of lack in productivity when there are like some projects which are not motivating enough for the employees. We saw a lot of upliftment in the energy when there is an exciting project. For an instance, we work with Disney Plus in creating the regional posters, and the designers actually worked till 4 a.m. in the morning, because that was an they gave us a assignment that you have to create a uh, graphic of Thor Ragnarok, and if you got selected, we will give you the entire project. And the designers were actually like they were more excited than us, because they can actually tell their friends that okay, we have created this. So we created all the Marvel movies regional posters in Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu. So now the designers are very much excited about it. So they work for till 4 a.m. without any complaint.
Nice.
So that is where that is why the employee satisfaction is the most important thing for an organization, especially for a design agency. So what we do is we try to ensure that people are happy working at Brucira. One of the things that we do is we have a control on the working hours. All right. This is again a thing that separates us from a conventional design agency is we have defined working hours. All right. I'm not. So when we were before lockdown, we used to shut down the office at 5:30 a.m. 5:30 p.m. We used to start early and shut down at 5:30 p.m. What the reason was, at 9 a.m. if we start at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., the traffic would be less, so the people would be less frustrated
Right.
while they come to office. And by 5:30 p.m., after going after finishing up their work, they can actually see sunlight, which is very important, and they can enjoy the rest of the day. They can have the social life, which is actually when I talk with a lot of designers working in agency, they say that they have to work 2 a.m. There's a very common, or there's kind of a meme that what is the delivery date or what is the deadline. and the client says yesterday. We don't entertain those kind of clients.
Right.
If a client say, doesn't matter who the client is, if they say the deadline is tomorrow or after, we simply refuse the project, because we know that will affect the daily routine of our employees. So yeah, that's what we do. And apart from that, there are multiple things we keep on doing. Like we have a skillful Saturday. So because in an agency there's a lot of workload, so you can't have all the Saturdays off. So initially we had this alternate Saturdays working. So then what we did was we just remove all these Saturdays, alternate Saturdays, and although they were still working, but it was, we gave it a new name, Skillful Saturday. What's the meaning is, on these Saturdays the employees can do whatever they want in the office hours, because in fact every designer has this thing that whatever they are doing, they want to learn something additional, and they want to keep on innovating, they want to keep on experimenting with their own skills, but they don't get enough time,
Right.
because of office hours. So we made this Saturday so these people can actually learn whatever they want to do and actually they want to do. So in our team, a lot of people are doing animation. In fact, all the graphic designer and illustrators are doing animation now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So because they love doing it, because they want their creative to to actually move, and like they want to see it alive. That's a motivation for them. Earlier they used to do it in the night hours, during their Sundays, and actually that is also frustrating for a person, because they know that, okay, I can't do it in my office hours, so I have to waste my Sunday. I had a lot of plans, but I have to do this. So that's why we made the office they can actually work what they love during the office hours. So these are some of the things we do to improve the satisfaction, and we actually saw great changes, great results in the productivity of the employees. They were actually by the Monday, they were actually happy when they come on Monday. On Saturdays, they are extremely happy, in fact. So that increase their performances. So that actually benefits the company. And also we are getting a lot of skills. That's an add-on.
Definitely. That's really smart actually, in terms of making it kind of official that Saturdays are design office hours, that if you want to learn anything, you don't, like, it's fine if you can't sit, if you don't want to sit at home, you can come to the office and just do your own thing.
Yeah.
And making that available as
and we deduct the salaries if they don't work on Saturdays.
Oh.
On Skillful Saturday.
Nice.
So they are forced to work on the things they love.
Right. That's great actually. So now that we're coming to the end of our interview, Harsh and Siddhita, what advice would you give? I had two questions actually. What are your top 3 learnings in your entire journey so far? And I had to ask you, what advice would you give to a beginner who wants to start into design, or maybe level up as a founder as well?
Mm-hmm. So our learning from Brucira is basically when it comes to the project, let's discuss on project. Design is not everything. This is our learning. We used to deliver awesome design, but that was we never had complete satisfaction from the client, and that's where when we realized that despite of giving amazing designs, the satisfaction level is still low, we hired a PM. All right. Now this PM used to have a daily contact, touch bases with the client. They used to take care of their needs on a daily basis. They actually set up a process, and they gives them clear expectation. They keep a transparency with the client, and they then finally send off. So earlier it was different. Designers were there, so I used to mail them, okay, this is done, this is not done, and then that's it. And we used to ship the designs. It was a kind of we were working like organized freelancers, I would say.
You guys are still figuring out the process.
Yeah. But after having a PM, it was not a PM, a UX designer, UI designer actually turned into a PM. So after having that thing, the satisfaction rate is really high. It's like close to 100%. So that's a biggest learning in terms of the design work. All right. Have your processes organized. Keep your client in the process. Maintain the transparency. So yeah, that will lead to a successful project, not your design.
Right.
Yeah. So that is one. The second learning is you are not the like as a founder. Now I'm talking as a founder. You are not the boss here. You are just an employee. All right. You have all the managing powers, but you are not the boss. The day you start treating yourself as a boss, your organization or company will collapse. Work with your team as an employee only. So this is a second and very important learning we got, because people uh, people they want to work with you. They don't want to work for you. All right. So this is a learning, and that's why we make sure, and everything is connected. Actually, the office politics, the senior junior, that's why we eliminated everything. We removed everything out of the equation, because we want to have this culture. The employees should be very comfortable with us. At the same time, they should know that he's a manager, but they should not think like us as a boss. All right. And that will actually promote a good culture in your organization, and also promote basically ultimately improve the productivity. Yeah. So this is it. And as designer, I think, yeah, these are the major learnings.
And if what advice would you give to aspiring designers or people who are already designers but want to start off their own thing?
Yeah, so like here I would like to mention one more learning, that understand everyone's strength and weaknesses. Like this is very important, like, because everyone in your team is equipped with different skill set, and like you can't expect like everyone to be good at everything. So like know their skills and try to see like how you can achieve the best result from that. And try to figure out combination of complementary skills, and you will get best result for sure. And this is like one of the reasons we use Magnon speed system at Brucira, because it helps us to improve speed with quality.
Start. Okay, first for the designers, don't try multiple things. All right. As Siddhita rightly said, the reason she switched a lot of companies, because she was doing multiple things, but she was not satisfied. She was earning well, so you will earn well. Money should never be a concern. You will earn well for sure if you are good, if you are doing hard work. So don't try to learn everything. Don't try to derive the trends, the current trends. So at the moment, let's say for a fresh example, I would say the 3D is trending. Okay, you can see on Dribble, all the designers can agree with me here. 3D is trending, and entire Dribble behind everything is filled with 3D. So what people are doing, if there is a graphic designer, uh, instead of improving the graphic skill, they're trying to learn 3D. That won't work, and that should not be your approach. Never let the trends drive your career goals.
Right.
All right, just know in what you're good at, why you're doing something. Just know that you're not doing something for others to show others. All right, you're doing it for yourself. All right, just be focused, have patience, keep on moving in the forward direction. That's it. Everything will come. Like uh, like if you are a UI designer, and you don't you focus entirely on the UI design, and then you learn the motion design or the interaction design, that is good. But if you start learning the interaction design from the very beginning, that will be of no use, because in the end, your motion, your interaction should complement your design. All right, if the design is not good, there's no sense. You are ultimately you will be depending upon a good designer. for your final result. So yeah, that's the advice for the designers. And for the people who are trying to start off, once you're all in, you can achieve anything. But don't, first of all, what people do wrong, what we did wrong before was we were keeping our startup idea as a backup plan. And doing a job is actually having a backup for your backup plan. All right, you should not do that. All right, don't keep backups.
Only if once your back is against the wall, then only you will be forced to go ahead, and you will take all the risks because that's all you've got.
Yes.
That's great advice, Harsh. It was great having you guys. Thanks a lot. How was your experience?
Yeah, experience was good. Although initially the internet screwed a lot, but yes, it's good.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to this episode, and I hope you liked it. If you watched the entire video, drop a comment below sharing your favorite learnings from this interview to let us know. Subscribe to the Whiteboard.fm YouTube channel to check out other episodes and clips from this interview. This podcast is a part of the 10K Designers Network. You can check out other projects on 10kdesigners.com.